Hi, good morning. Hope all of you are fine. Just recall what we have discussed in our last class. We have discussed the definition of a vector spaces and elementary properties of vector spaces. Today we are going to discuss about linear combination of vectors, also subspaces of a vector space. Okay. Now the definition of linear combination is let beta be any vector in V. Okay, and beta is said to be linear combination of these vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n in V, provided there exist scalars C1, C2, etc. Cn in F such that beta you can write as C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. plus Cn alpha n, which is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n Ci alpha I. Then we call the vector beta is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n. Okay, that means if you can find C1, C2, etc. Cn belongs to F such that then C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. plus Cn alpha n is equal to beta. Okay, if there exist no such Ci's, then we call beta is not a linear combination of alpha i's. Okay, now we are going to prove one problem. If C is the field of complex numbers, which vector in C3 are the linear combination of these vectors? That means we have to find linear combination of these vectors. Linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n is actually sigma Ci alpha I. Ci is from field. Here we have to consider vector C3 over C. Okay, so here you mark, let alpha 1 is equal to 1 0 minus 1, alpha 2 is equal to 0 1 1, and alpha 3 is equal to 1 1 1. Therefore linear combination of alpha, these vectors are actually set of all C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3, where Ci belongs to C. This is the linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Now actually what is this one? C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 is equal to C1 into 1 0 minus 1 plus C2 into 0 1 1 plus C3 into 1 1 1, and this is equal to C1 0 minus C1 plus 0 C2 C2 plus C3 C3 C3, and this is equal to coordinate wise addition C1 plus 0 plus C3, C1 plus C3, 0 plus C2, okay, 0 plus C2 plus C3, so C2 plus C3, and the last one minus C1 plus C2 plus C3. Okay, so actually linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, this is the set of all C1 plus C3, comma C2 plus C3, comma minus C1 plus C2 plus C3, where C1, C2, C3 belongs to C. This is the linear combination of the vector, this alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Okay, clear? Now the next problem is, let V equal to C and F is equal to C and beta equal to 2i. Alpha 1 is equal to 2 and alpha 2 is equal to 1. Check whether beta is a linear combination of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Okay, we have to check whether beta you can write as a linear combination of alpha 1 and alpha 2. What is alpha 1? Alpha 1 is 2, but we have to get 2i. Okay, so what about the field F? F is a complex number. So you can take some C1 is equal to I. Clearly I belongs to F. Okay, and alpha 1 is equal to 2. Okay, and you take C2 is equal to 0. Now what about C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2? This is equal to I into 2 plus 0 into our alpha 2 is 1, and this is equal to 2i, and this is equal to beta. 2i equal to beta. Okay, that is C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 equal to beta. That means our beta is a linear combination of alpha 1 and alpha 2. Okay. What about if f is equal to r? Suppose f is equal to r, real numbers. Clearly I not belongs to r. Therefore we cannot write we cannot write beta as a linear combination of alpha 1 and alpha 2, because alpha 1 is 2, alpha 2 is 1. But beta is 2i. I not belongs to r. Therefore, beta is not a linear combination of alpha 1 and alpha 2 if f is equal to r. Okay. Now, the next problem is write the vector beta equal to 1 minus 2, 5 as a linear combination of these vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha 3. Alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Okay. So, we have to write beta. Okay. Suppose beta equal to, we have beta equal to this one, and beta is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 implies beta is equal to C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3, where Ci belongs to our field F. Okay. So, if beta is linear combination of these vectors, then beta you can write like this. Okay. So, this is equal to C1 into alpha 1 is 1, 1, 1 plus C2 into 1, 2, 3 plus C3 into 2 minus 1, 1. Okay. And this is equal to C1, C1, C1 plus C2, 2C2, 3C2. Actually, there is no need to write this step. 2C3 minus C3 and C3. And finally, this is equal to C1 plus C2 plus 2C3, C1 plus 2C2 minus C3, C1 plus 3C2 plus C3. Okay. So, beta, what is our beta? Beta is 1 minus 2, 5. So, beta is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2 if Ci satisfies this condition. That is C1 plus C2 plus 2C3 equal to 1. C1 plus 2C2 minus C3 equal to minus 2. C1 plus 3C2 plus C3 equal to 5. Okay. If this value Ci exists, or this system of equation, this is a system of equation. Okay. If this system of equation is consistent, consistent means what? Solution exists. Okay. If this system has a solution, that means there is the values for C1, C2 and C3. That implies beta is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Now what about the consistency of a system? A system Ax equal to B is consistent if rank of A equal to rank of AB, rank of augmented matrix AB. Okay. And if rank of A is equal to number of unknowns, then we call the system have a unique solution. Okay. So we have to check whether this system is consistent. Okay. So we have to solve the given system of equation. You can use any method. Okay. You can use Gauss elimination method, you can use Gauss-Jordan method, you can use row echelon canonical form, or you can use solving system of equations simultaneously. Okay, any method. Okay. Here I am using Gauss elimination method. Okay. So this is our equation, and this equation you can write as a matrix form. Okay. And this is now in the form Ax equal to B. Ax equal to, now augmented matrix AB equal to this one, and the corresponding canonical form, row canonical form. Okay, this one here R2 changes to R2 minus R1, R3 changes to R3 minus R1, we get this equation. Then operate R3 changes to R3 minus to R2, we'll get this equation. Okay, now this is in upper triangular form. Okay, so this you can write this, thus we get this system of equation. Then apply back substitution, that is 5C3 equal to 10, that implies C3 equal to 2 and C2 equal to 3 and C1 is equal to minus 6. Therefore you can write our beta as, our that vector as C1 minus 6 into alpha 1 plus 2 into alpha 2, sorry 3 into alpha 2 plus 2 into alpha 3. Okay, therefore our vector beta is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2 and alpha 3. Okay, moving to our next section, subspaces. All of you already know the definition of subspaces. Okay, now what do you mean by a subspace? Let V be a vector space over the field F. A subspace of V is a subset W of V, which is itself a vector space over F with the operation of vector addition and scalar multiplication on V. Okay, so a subspace means it is a subset of V which is itself, that subset itself is a vector space over the field, over the same field F with the same operation of vector addition and scalar multiplication on V. Okay, now we will discuss some examples of subspaces. Okay, now if you consider R2 is a vector space over R. Okay, and if you consider R set of all real numbers, clearly this is a subset of R2. Okay, also R is a vector space over R. Okay, therefore R is a subspace of R2. Okay, now if you consider any vector space V, clearly V is a subspace of V. Okay, how? Clearly V is a subset of V and V itself has a vector space, therefore V is a subspace of V. Also if you consider singleton set 0, clearly this is a subset of V. Okay, and if you add these two elements, 0 plus 0 again 0, any scalar C into 0 is 0. Okay, therefore clearly 0 is also a subspace of V, and this subspace is called trivial subspace. Okay, therefore for any vector space V, clearly set 0 and V itself is a subspace of V. All other subspaces are proper subspaces. Okay, now we are going to discuss a necessary and sufficient condition for a subset W of V to be a subspace. Okay, now the statement of the theorem is a non-empty subset, underline this non-empty. Okay, a non-empty subset W of V is a subspace of V if and only if means that is a necessary and sufficient condition. Okay, of if and only if each pair of vectors alpha comma beta in W and each scalar C in F, the vector C alpha plus beta is again in W. Okay, if you take alpha beta in W and C belongs to F, then C alpha plus beta must be in W. Okay, so the first part is, we suppose that W is a non-empty subset and W satisfies this condition, and we have to prove W is a subspace of V. Okay, now conversely what conversely suppose W is a subspace of V, and we have to prove for any alpha comma beta belongs to W, this belongs to W. The converse part is very easy. Okay. Now what about the necessary part? We are assuming W is a non-empty subset of V, and we have to satisfy this condition, and we have to prove W is a subspace. Okay. Now to prove W is a subspace, what we have to prove? We have to prove W itself is a vector space over F. Okay. So to prove what W itself is a vector space, what we have to prove? We have to first check whether addition is closed. Similarly, scalar multiplication is closed. Also we have to check commutativity and associativity already hold, because W is a subset of V. In V commutativity hold, therefore in W commutativity holds. In W also commutativity holds. Similarly, associativity condition also hold. Okay. Now we have to check whether 0 belongs to W. Also for every alpha belongs to W, whether minus alpha belongs to W. Now what about scalar multiplication? We have to check whether W is closed under scalar multiplication. Now what about the properties? 1 into alpha equal to alpha. Is alpha belongs to W, W belongs to V. In V is a vector space. Therefore all the conditions of scalar multiplication, and there is no need to check whether these properties hold in W, because all these properties clearly hold in V. Okay. Now moving to the proof. Okay. We have to suppose that W is a non-empty subset of V and satisfies the condition C alpha plus beta belongs to W for every C belongs to F and alpha comma beta belongs to W. Okay. And we have to prove W is a subspace. Okay. So C F is a field, therefore clearly F contains ring with unity. Therefore 1 belongs to F. So you can take C equal to 1. That means alpha plus beta belongs to W. Therefore W is closed under addition. Now we have to check whether W is closed under scalar multiplication. Okay. Before that we will check whether 0 belongs to W. Given that W is a non-empty set, therefore this contains an element rho clearly that belongs to W, rho. Okay. So rho belongs to W and W satisfies this condition. So clearly C rho plus rho again belongs to W. F is a field, 1 belongs to F, therefore minus 1 also belongs to F. Minus 1 rho plus rho belongs to W. But you know, just to recall elementary property, minus 1 into alpha is minus alpha. Therefore this is minus rho plus rho. Okay. And this equal to 0 and clearly belongs to W. Therefore 0 belongs to W. Okay. Now if you take beta equal to 0, then this belongs to W. Okay. Then this equation becomes C alpha plus beta equal to C alpha. This belongs to W. Therefore W is closed under scalar multiplication. Okay. Now we have to check whether inverse, additive inverse exists for every element in alpha, every element in W. Okay. Let alpha belongs to W. Okay. So if you take C equal to minus 1 and beta equal to 0, then clearly this belongs to W by our assumption. C equal to minus 1 and beta equal to 0. So minus 1 into alpha belongs to W. But by elementary property, minus 1 into alpha equal to minus alpha belongs to W. Okay. Thus we get W is a subset of V which is satisfied, which is closed under addition. Scalar multiplication is also closed. 0 belongs to W, inverse exists, element exists, and all other properties also hold in the case of W. Okay. This implies W is itself a vector space over the field F. This implies W is a subspace of V. Okay. Now what about the converse? Conversely, suppose that W is a subspace of V. And we have to prove for any scalar C and alpha comma beta belongs to W, C alpha plus beta belongs to W. Okay, as W is a vector space for any alpha comma beta belongs to W, clearly alpha plus beta belongs to W. Okay, and it is closed under scalar multiplication, therefore C alpha also belongs to W. C alpha belongs to W, beta belongs to W implies C alpha plus beta belongs to W. This is our condition, and this is true for every C belongs to F and every alpha comma beta belongs to W. Therefore, we have this implies if W is a subspace of V, then C alpha plus beta belongs to W for any C belongs to F and alpha comma beta belongs to W. Okay, now we will discuss one problem. Okay, show that W equal to x1, x2, etc. xn, xi belongs to F and x1 equal to 0, the first coordinate equal to 0. This collection is a subspace of Fn. Okay, similarly in the case of R2 ordered pair, in that case we have selected x2 equal to 0. Okay, so we have to check whether this is a subspace of Fn. Okay, so what about W? W equal to set of all x1, x2, etc. xn such that xi belongs to F and x1 equal to 0. So what about actually W? W is set of all 0, x2, x3, etc. xn such that xi belongs to F. Okay, the first coordinate is 0. Okay, so if you consider the elements 0, 0, etc., 0, all entries 0, clearly this belongs to W. Okay, and clearly this is a subset of Fn. Okay, so W is a non-empty subset of Fn. Okay, so we get W is a non-empty subset of Fn. So if W is a non-empty subset of vector space, then W is a subspace if and only if C alpha plus beta belongs to W. Okay, so you choose some alpha equal to some 0, x2, x3, etc. xn. Beta is equal to some 0, y2, y3, etc. yn. Now what is C alpha plus beta? This is equal to C alpha plus beta is C into 0, x2, x3, etc. xn plus 0, y2, etc. yn. Okay, and this is equal to cx2, cx3, cx4, etc. cxn, and final answer is 0, cx2 plus y2, cx3 plus y3, etc. cxn plus yn. Okay, all these elements, C belongs to F, x2 belongs to F, y2, and therefore this belongs to F. Therefore, but first entry is 0. Therefore, this entry is clearly belongs to W. This is true for every C belongs to F and every alpha comma beta belongs to W. Thus, we get C alpha plus beta belongs to W for every C belongs to F and alpha comma beta belongs to W. This implies W is a subspace of Fn. Okay. Now we will discuss another example. Here check W is equal to x1, x2, etc. xn. Xi belongs to F such that x1 is equal to 1 plus x2. And we have to check whether this is a subspace of Fn. Okay. So what about the property W? X1 is equal to 1 plus x2. So if you consider this element 2, 1, 1, etc. all other entries 1. Clearly this belongs to W. Okay. F is any, F may be C or R. Okay. And clearly this belongs to W. Also similarly if you take this one 3, 1, 1, 3, some 2, 2, etc. 2. So x1, 3 is 1 plus x2. Okay. So clearly this is also belongs to W. If you add these two elements, what we get? 2 plus 3, 5, 3, 3, etc. 3. but 5 is not 1 plus 3. Therefore, clearly this not belongs to W. Okay, therefore, if you take this alpha equal to this one and beta equal to this one and alpha plus beta, then not belongs to W. This implies W is not a subspace of Fn. Okay. Now the next example is prove that the set of all symmetric matrices form a subspace of set of all n by n matrices over F. What do you mean by symmetric matrices? Aij equal to Aj. Okay. So our W is set of all A belongs to n by n matrix. That means n by n such that Aij equal to Aji. Okay. And we have to prove this W is a subspace of V. Okay. Subspace of Fn by n. Okay. So here clearly 0 matrix. If you consider 0 matrix, this is a symmetric matrix. Therefore clearly 0 matrix belongs to W. Therefore W is non-empty. Okay. Now if you take two elements A comma B belongs to W, and we have to check whether CA plus B belongs to W. That is, we have to check whether CA plus B Ij equal to CA plus B Ji. Okay, we have to check whether this holds. Now CA plus B Ij, what is the meaning of that? A plus B Ij means Aij plus Bij. Therefore CA Ij plus Bij. Okay, and this is same as CAIJ plus Bij. But Aij is Aji because A belongs to W. Therefore, this is equal to CAJI plus BJI. And this is equal to CAIJI plus BJI. And this is equal to CA plus BJI. CA plus Bij equal to CA plus Bji. This implies CA plus B is a symmetric matrix. That means CA plus B belongs to W. Thus we get W is non-empty, and for any C belongs to F and A comma B belongs to W, CA plus B belongs to W. This implies W is a subspace of Fn by n. Okay, that means set of all symmetric matrices form a subspace of Fn by n. What about the skew symmetric matrices? We just check whether the set of all skew symmetric matrices form a subspace of Fn by n. Now we are going to prove another result. Show that the set of all Hermitian matrices, that is not a vector space over the field of complex numbers. Now what do you mean by a Hermitian matrix? Skew symmetric means Aij equal to Aj. A Hermitian matrix means A transpose conjugate equal to A. Okay, so A transpose means Aij equal to, okay. So here W is equal to set of all A belongs to Fn by n such that Aij equal to Aji conjugate. This become A transpose. Okay. This is the W. Okay. Now we have to check whether W is a subspace of Fn by n. Now if you take two elements A, suppose A belongs to W, then A is a Hermitian matrix. Okay. So we know A matrix, A is a Hermitian implies all its diagonal must be a real number. Okay. And if you choose some C belongs to F and C equal to I. Okay, A is a matrix belongs to W, therefore A is Hermitian, therefore diagonal entries of A is clearly real numbers. Now what about CA? CA equal to I into A. What about the diagonal entries of IA? Clearly this is not real numbers. This implies because the diagonal entries of A are real numbers. Okay, I into a real number means that must be a complex number. Therefore, clearly IA not belongs to W. Okay, thus we get for I belongs to, if you take C equal to I and A belongs to W, then IA not belongs to W. This implies W is not a subspace of Fn by N. That means set of all Hermitian matrices is not a vector space or the field of complex numbers. Okay, now what about real numbers? Over real numbers that form a subspace. Okay, now what about subspaces of R2? R2. Clear? Now what about subspaces of R2? Clearly R is a subspace of R2. Okay, if you take R2, clearly this is the plane R2. Okay, now what about subspaces? We have to check, we have to find subset of R2 that is a subspace. Okay, now subspace means linear combination. If you take any two numbers 1 1 and some 2 3, then this is in the subspace. That implies that some addition must be in that subspace, that subset. Okay, that means we are adding. Okay, therefore this, what is the meaning of that? Okay, we get line joining. Okay, line joining 2 points. Okay, so if you consider R2 any straight line, if you consider any straight line, then that straight line gives linear combination of that points. Okay, so if you consider this line, straight lines, this is a straight line passing through origin. Okay, clearly straight line passing through origin is a subspace of R2. Now what about other straight lines? This straight line is not passing through origin. That means 0 does not belongs to, suppose this is W, 0 does not belongs to W. Therefore, W is not a subspace. Okay, therefore subspace of R2 are R2, set 0 and also any other straight line passing through origin. Okay, now what about R3? What about subspaces of R3? Set 0, R3 and all planes passing through origin, also all straight lines passing through origin. Now just revise what we have discussed today. Okay, today we have discussed the definition of linear combination of vectors alpha 1, alpha 2 and etc. alpha n. Okay, after that we have discussed the definition of subspace of a vector space. Then we have discussed a necessary and sufficient condition for a non-empty subset W of a vector space V to be a subspace of V. Also we have discussed some problems. Okay, hope everything is clear. In the next class we will discuss some other examples of subspaces. Okay.